Welcome back to Remodeling Reinvented. I'm your host, Caitlin Copley, along with producer Diana Voelker. Today, we're excited to sit down with JDR's General Manager, Joey DuPlante, a leader who truly understands every step of the remodeling journey. With years of experience as both project manager and production manager, Joey has guided countless projects from start to finish. Today, we'll go behind the scenes of managing construction and the systems JDR uses to ensure exceptional quality on every project. Welcome to the show, Joey.
Thank you, Caitlin. Happy to be here.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. So before we begin, I just wanted to give a quick happy birthday to my girl, Diana here.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we hope you have a fabulous day. So, Joey, let's get into it.
All right.
So, our first question, so once the design is finalized, what are the very first steps the production team takes to prepare for the construction?
So in order to prepare for construction, we have two pre-construction meetings. One of them we have internally with our entire project team, where we review the scope, the design intent, core buying reasons, and everything else to make sure that we get production up to speed on what the project is supposed to be and what we're building. And then the next is a pre-construction meeting at the client's home, where we introduce the project manager to the client, to the project, and walk through everything that we're going to be doing for the project.
So it kind of gets everybody on the same page and them familiar with the project itself, and they can start building that connection.
Yeah, exactly. And learning the specifics to everybody's home, because everybody's home is different. So seeing that takes it from paper to reality in their mind.
Right. And how do you go about scheduling the project managers for their jobs?
So it's a detailed process. We have geographic locations that we try to keep our project managers in. That way we can reduce windshield time and they're not, driving an exorbitant amount of miles to try to get to every project every day.
Mm-hmm.
So by keeping them close, it allows them to really hit every one of those sites every single day.
Yeah, and make the best use of their time. That makes a lot of sense. And then as far as how our client's construction schedule is built, how do you divide that up? Is it into milestones or?
On building the schedule, it's basically they take the entire project and they review the scope of work, they review the plans, and then they sit down and they spend a good week building a project schedule based on everything that they can see and everything that they can try to foresee that's going to come along in the project.
Okay.
And then it's reviewed by our production manager to ensure accuracy and that he sees anything that they might have missed to ensure it's realistic and not just optimistic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we know that there could be challenges. So just being able to predict and foresee as much as you can.
Yeah. And it's an anticipated timeline. And so they build out the project schedule for what they foresee. Throughout the process, they update the project schedule, daily as things come up and things move forward. That way the clients have full transparency of what's happening.
Right. And speaking of transparency, as we know, communication is so important with each other internally and also with the clients. So can you talk to us about what systems JDR uses in order to keep the clients up to date on the progress of what's happening?
Yeah, I know a lot of different remodelers use a lot of different products and scheduling softwares and communication softwares. We are currently using Buildertrend.
Mm-hmm.
I highly recommend if you're gonna work with a contractor that you make sure that they're using some sort of system to keep you up to date. But we use Buildertrend, and it's nice because all of the communication is in one spot. And so internal communication, client communication, it all goes through one portal, which really keeps the entire team in the loop and in the know of what's happening day to day on the projects.
And I heard that even the designer's selections and everything are stored in that platform. Is that right?
Yeah, the designers actually use that platform with the client in order to sign off on their selections and make sure that they keep them organized on cost and timeliness of getting all that done for construction.
That's great. So at any given point, someone can just sign on and kind of see where their project is at and what's coming up.
Yeah,
everything.
full transparency.
That's awesome. And prior to construction starting, how do you let the neighbors know what's happening? Because I know sometimes there can be challenges. Hopefully they get along with their neighbors, but just how do you how do you kind of clue them in on what's happening?
So we as a company send out neighborhood letters to everybody in the vicinity of the project with what's going to be happening and then our project manager's contact information. We always recommend to our clients that they have a conversation with their immediate neighbors. That way there's a communication basis there. And then we always recommend that any issues that come up, we push towards the project manager so they can help solve any of the issues that come up, because construction is intrusive and noisy, and it's an impact to the neighborhood. So we want to do everything that we can to make it a less painful process.
That's great.
For sure. And hopefully if they have the contact information, if there's an issue, they can call them directly. And why do you believe that consistent communication is the secret to reducing stress?
Surprises cause stress, right? And so when you're communicating, there's information that's passed back and forth. You have an open dialogue with your client and your team, and that reduces remodeling stress. Just knowing what's happening. When a client's in the dark or someone's in the dark, they don't know what's happening. It's a stressful situation. And so just absolute transparency builds confidence.
For sure. And would you say from your experience, some of the challenges people have had if they've remodeled before, is that one of the main concerns where I haven't heard from anybody, no one's showing up?
Yeah, one of the reasons why we have transparency is our forefront of building is because there's been so many times where clients have remodeled previously and they've said that they didn't hear from their contractor, no one showed up for a week at a time, they didn't know what was going on, and that really caused them to lose faith in the organization.
Mm-hmm.
And so we really ensure that that doesn't happen for our clients to make sure that their process is as seamless as it can be.
Yeah. And if there's bad news, at least letting them know what's happening and coming up with a solution, hopefully.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we know the demolition can be a bit of a intimidating stage for many of us. So what should clients expect during that process? Because I know there'll be dust and
Yeah, it's
Tears.
yeah,
Some
it's
crying.
noisy, it's dusty, and it goes quickly. It's exciting because it's the beginning of the transformation of your project. And we do everything we can to, put up protective barriers and drop cloths and floor coverings and air scrubbers and everything that we can to mitigate a lot of that dust. But the thing that I always recommend to our clients is that they are not home during that time, because it's painful to hear your home get torn apart
Ugh.
during the
Yeah.
demo process. And so not being there is what I always recommend to everybody. And expect the unexpected.
yeah.
Right? Demo is when we find things that we weren't expecting behind the walls, and that's when most of the discoverables show up. So just if you can understand that that's when that's going to happen, the process will
Interesting.
go better.
Like, what are some things
What
that
did you
you
find
found?
behind the wall?
Oh man, we do a lot of preliminary holes that we cut and try to see and try to anticipate what's behind the walls, but you never know what the previous builder did or what termite damage has been, or you anticipate that there's a post in the wall and you open up the wall and it's either not there or it's been eaten. And
My
Oh.
gosh.
yeah, so it's
So you
those have always
try
been
to
fun.
you try to look for signs of that stuff prior, but you can't always see everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially in San Diego, because a lot of the homes were built 100 plus years ago. So building standards and building codes back then were, non-existent or slim at best. And so taking on a lot of those projects, we have a lot of experience with those, but you never really know what you're going to open up until you open it up.
I'm surprised no tech person has come up with like some sort of X-ray
I know.
vision
I
to
always think of that too. Like what?
like a superpower to
sort
go
of-
through the wall, but
Yeah.
maybe one day, maybe that'll be our
Someday
next
soon.
our next adventure. So I know we hear this a lot from people who are thinking about doing a remodel is the word change orders. So can you talk to us about what is a change order and how does JDR go about preventing those from happening?
Yeah, change order is a dirty word. So we don't like them. And a change order can be a client-driven change, an unforeseen condition during demolition, or design adjustments that happen throughout the process, which is fine. But we spend a lot of time on our design process trying to ensure that we've covered all of the design intents, all of the core buying reasons, and try to really fit everything that a client would be thinking about into their project on the front side so we can avoid that. The national average of cost overrun for change orders is about 20 to 25%. And at JDR, we're very proud. We shoot for about a 3 to 4%
Yeah.
thanks to our design process.
Yeah.
Wow, that's significant.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I've heard it can be someone wants an upgrade on the tile or maybe some of their appliances. They decide, hey, I think I want to splurge on that. And that could come up later. Or sometimes do they ever add to the project? Like,
Could be a good thing.
It definitely happens. Our design team, project directors, architects, and interior designers are really good at trying to explore all of the options on the front side. That way, a client really has time to think about that before we begin construction. 'Cause
yeah.
as soon as you change something in the middle of construction, it's more expensive than had you planned on it on the front side.
Yeah, that makes sense. And you mentioned earlier, and I've heard you mention it a couple of times, like the core buying reasons. Can you talk to us a little bit about that? And from your perspective, what does that mean and why is it helpful for you?
It really sheds insight on why the client is doing this project. And core buying reasons can be anything, to an expanding family, to a view that they've never been able to take advantage of, and really understanding that that's why they're doing the project and that everything's really driven towards that helps the entire team understand what direction,
Yeah,
and just sheds light on, it helps build a relationship with the client.
that makes
Yeah.
sense. And it seems like during your internal team meetings, if things are sort of getting out of hand or it's kind of all over the place, it can be like, hey guys, let's look and see why again are they doing this? And it could ground people a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about just day to day, your life in the production area, because you've had a lot of years of experience. I know you're general manager now, but before that, you were a project manager. You oversaw your own projects. So, how does a day in the life of a project manager look when you're overseeing these projects?
The fun part about being a project manager is every day is different. We try to keep our project managers around 5 to 6 projects at a time, and that can be at any stage of a project. So your day is never consistent. You don't have all of your projects in the same spot at the same time. So your day can start sitting in inspection on a job site for drywall, and then you could be running off to the next project because you have framing contractors on site that we're going over, and it can be a little bit chaotic. But it's an organized chaos due to builder trend in our schedules, and we have trade partners that are wonderful that we work with on all of our projects. So really, a typical day is an ideal day is starting out at the office, going over your schedules, contacting your trade partners, ensuring everything that you've scheduled is lined up, and then heading out to your job sites to meet with trade partners or clients, trying to quality control the project and review everything that's been going on that day. And then at the end of the day, heading back to the office and going over your schedules and calling trade partners for the following day.
So, what happens when occasionally in San Diego it's raining? I know there's sometimes running, putting out fires. Do they have any plan for that?
We don't get rain often.
Mhm.
So when we do, it's a big to-do. All of our project managers keep a close eye on the weather, especially during the raining seasons, and ensure that all homes are protected from rain,
Yeah.
which is sometimes harder than it seems
yeah,
because your home is open in different areas and everything's different on your project, right? Everything's
exposed. Yeah.
exposed. And so it's covering with tarps and plastic and ensuring valuables are protected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Not their first rodeo. In
I
the
know.
rain.
I'm like, it always makes me think how other people do it in the snow and other parts of the country. I'd be interested to know
Yeah.
what
Oh,
their processes are and
That's
all
true.
that.
Well, we don't handle rain well here.
Right.
I know.
People can't drive and they can't work.
No.
I know.
Panic.
So, and how does the project manager help with keeping the projects on time and within budget?
Upfront planning is critical. The fewer surprises, the better. And so our project managers, they follow our scope of work, which they're trusting in their team, has met with the clients throughout the process and ensured that everything's there. They do a weekly schedule review with the client at their home, and then we do a weekly schedule review with project managers in office to ensure that timelines are maintained and any unforeseens or any slippage is accounted for and where we can make up for that. Really, it's constant coordination with our trade partners across all projects to ensure that their workload is managed on our side as well, to ensure that we're not putting everybody on one job and it's overloaded. And so
Yeah.
we like to spread all that out. So that's the best way we really keep everybody on schedule.
It's kind of like a puzzle you're
It
trying
is.
to put together. Like that piece had to get moved, so now I have to move this piece over. It's like a slider puzzle, like I see on that show Survivor.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
So I know challenges can happen during remodels. Have you ever experienced a challenge that the team was able to come up with a creative solution for a problem? Can you think of any examples you can share with us?
It does happen all the time, and normally, like I said, in the demo phase, where you open up at a wall and something wasn't there that you anticipated. On a recent project, we uncovered during demo an unexpected structural issue. Rather than delay the project and stop and try to do that, we have in-house architecture department. So we all came out and evaluated the post that was missing in this home, came up with a nice solution on how to do that, and got the project back on track and didn't lose any time on it.
Perfect. Perfect. And do you have a favorite success story or project that you can think of that just came together beautifully, perfectly, and you're like, gosh, that was just start to finish
Dream come true.
a dream come true? Yeah.
I do. We built a beautiful home in Point Loma for a professional couple and their kids,
Mm-hmm.
and every element of this house was custom. You know, the entire project from top to bottom was unique and an incredibly high level of detail. And the family was thrilled with the results in the end, so much so that now we're building a guest home for them on their property.
I love it.
So that's success for me, is when a client trusts us to do multiple projects. And that really is what we're aiming for, is to build clients for life.
And the fact that they were able to go through a remodel, which is difficult, even just doing one major project, the fact that they were like feeling good about it to come back and do it all over again.
Came back for more.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And speaking of just quality control, what systems does JDR have in place to make sure things are meeting or exceeding the standard of each project?
Yeah, that's actually where we pride ourselves. We, outside of our daily job logs, which our project managers do and take photos and post for the entire team to be able to see how the project's going along, we have several team walkthroughs that we do at the project at certain stages. We do one during framing, one during rough after all of the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing's in, and then one at final to walk through just with the team and make sure that all of the design intent is completed. We also have our project managers on site, so they're constantly checking everything. And then we have our production manager, who also goes out to the projects as a second set of eyes,
Yeah.
for punch list walks and just on a date, probably a week-to-week basis, making sure that JDR standards are being upheld.
Does he do a pop by?
He stops by
Yeah.
whenever he feels like and all the time, and it's great.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. And I heard you even have a checklist in place as well, where you talk to the client about certain things.
The project manager holds a weekly meeting with the client where they have a checklist of issues, concerns, upcoming selections. If the clients are having any concerns and they would like to talk to our production manager or myself, and it really goes over action items for the following week to ensure that any schedule slippage or any selections that need to be done, anything that's critical at that time, gets handled by the team or the client.
And it's great to have those conversations, whether they're face to face or on the phone. Would you say if someone has had a challenging remodel in the past, it'd be an example where they just never heard from them or they don't show up for weeks and weeks? Or have you heard of those stories?
I have. And I think that's why our weekly meetings, I think our most important meeting that we have with our clients is that project manager to client relationship. And whether it's on the phone or it's in person, just ensuring that happens once a week.
Yeah.
Creates that and builds that level of trust that, we hold ourselves to a high standard for.
And that they have an actual place to go if they are experiencing something they're uneasy about.
Yeah.
Then it's a platform for them to get those feelings out to somebody.
And then that checklist is shared with the entire team. So the entire team gets to see what's going on and keeps them in the loop as well.
And I'm a homeowner as well. I would think that, this is a very emotional process. So sometimes there are things that I maybe necessarily would not understand, but I just need someone to explain it to me. So at least I'm in the know. So it probably keeps people's emotions leveled.
Yes, it's a check-in and a therapy session.
And can you share an example of a project that had such quality craftsmanship and you think it made such a difference in the final outcome?
We remodeled a very large kitchen that went into a family room, and the clients had a walkthrough into kind of an adjacent room. It was kind of a dining room that they never used, and it was kind of an intrusive opening in their living room. And through our design process, our wonderful designer designed the kitchen to flow into that living space and created a hidden bookcase door that opens up into that. And it was done so well by the cabinetry maker and our designer's design that it is now basically the showpiece for the entire room, which was otherwise just kind of an unsightly opening previously.
Oh, that sounds so cool.
Interesting.
We'll link to that project so you guys
I
can
wanna
see what
see.
he's talking about. It almost feels like you could go into a secret room or something.
That one was a lot of fun.
Like a speakeasy.
Oh,
Yeah. So I think Diana has some quick fire questions
It's
for
my
Joey.
Turn, my
All right.
turn. All right. So, what do you think is the most satisfying part of seeing a remodel completed?
For me, it's attending the job close at the end of our projects where we go out and, we deliver our gift to the client and basically say thank you for them, and hearing how the new space or remodel or whatever it was, changed their lives.
Oh,
That's really the payoff for months of planning and teamwork and problem solving for me. That's just the icing on the cake.
that's awesome. Which type of San Diego architecture inspires you the most?
I prefer Spanish style, which we have some of. It's not as common, but it's
Olé.
my favorite with the
Yeah.
use of colors and just how every space is completely unique. I love it.
I agree.
You should go to the Mission Hills historic home
Heritage,
tour
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
towards the end of the month. And the theme this
Good
year
one.
is Spanish architectural styles.
Oh, there
If
you go.
anyone's
check it out.
interested, it's
Right up your
on
alley.
September 27th.
Man, you might have to count me in for that one. What would you say is one piece of advice you'd give every homeowner before starting a remodel?
Probably be decisive and trust the process. The more clarity you bring on priorities and selections, the smoother and less stressful your remodel will be.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes such a huge difference.
Yeah.
Clarity.
Well, Joey, thank you so much for speaking with us today. And I feel like we learned a lot about what
We
you
sure
do
did.
and what the team does to help create these dream homes for people. And can't wait to see what else happens the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Thank you for having me. This
Yeah.
was,
Thank
this
you.
was
Thanks
awesome.
for leading our
Yeah.
team.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow Remodeling Reinvented on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Be sure to share with your friends interested in remodeling, and don't forget to rate us 5 stars. Thanks for listening.